रेडियो उड़ान के अपडेट्स लेने के लिए इस चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कीजिए और इस वीडियो को ज्यादा से ज्यादा लाइक कीजिए और शेयर कीजिए। फॉर मोर इन्फो लॉग ऑन टू www.radioudan.com।
रेडियो उड़ान में आपका स्वागत है। आज का शो है
चौंक गए आप भी? आपने सही समझा। अब रेडियो उड़ान सुने फोन पर भी, वो भी बिना इंटरनेट के। कैसे? श्रवण ऑडियो लाइब्रेरी के साथ। डायल करें 0807117525 पर। इंस्ट्रक्शंस फॉलो करें और सुने आपका अपना फेवरेट शो रेडियो उड़ान, अ फ्लाइट ऑफ लाइफ, अब एक फोन कॉल दूर।
Shravan Audio Library is an initiative by National Association for the Blind Delhi in association with United Way Delhi.
स्मार्ट वर्ल्ड में स्मार्ट बनने के लिए उपयोग करें स्मार्ट ऑन का। स्मार्ट ऑन जो कि एक एक्सेस टू डिवाइस और मोबाइल एप्लीकेशन है जो आपको हेल्प करेगा किसी भी चीज को, करेंसी को आइडेंटिफाई करने में या पढ़ाई में, क्योंकि इसमें लगा है स्मार्ट कैमरा। स्मार्ट कैमरा के साथ साथ इसमें है स्मार्ट आई जो डायग्राम्स, चार्ट्स, ग्राफ्स को समझने में आपकी हेल्प करेगा। इसके डॉक AI फीचर से आप डॉक्यूमेंट्स को 13 भाषाओं में समझ सकते हैं। इसके AI ट्यूटर फीचर से अपने किसी भी सवाल का जवाब जान सकते हैं और इसके स्मार्ट इमेज फीचर से किसी भी व्हाट्सएप इमेज को आप इस पे अपलोड करके उसकी समरी जान सकते हैं। स्मार्ट ऑन डिवाइस को किसी भी आई ग्लास में फिट करके आप इसका लाभ उठा सकते हैं और इसकी एप्लीकेशन का लाभ उठाने के लिए इसके साथ दी गई केबल को अपने एंड्रॉइड फोन में लगाएं। इस डिवाइस को चार्ज करने की भी आवश्यकता नहीं पड़ती क्योंकि ये फोन से ही पावर लेता है। ये डिवाइस अगर आप खरीदना चाहते हैं या इस पे कोई भी सब्सिडी चाहते हैं तो राब्ता करें हमारी सपोर्ट टीम 7016606884 से। स्मार्ट ऑन जो कर दे आपकी लाइफ को फुल ऑन।
जी हाँ दोस्तों, नमस्कार, आदाब, सत श्री अकाल। मैं दानिश महाजन प्रोग्राम बदलता दौर में आपका स्वागत करता हूं। आज हम एक नई सीरीज शुरू करने वाले हैं। हम हर महीने 1 या 2 एपिसोड करेंगे स्टेट डिसेबिलिटी कमिश्नर्स के साथ, ताकि हमें उनका एक प्रोस्पेक्टिव मिले कि उनकी स्टेट्स में क्या चल रहा है, किस तरह का काम हो रहा है। यह सीरीज हम डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ एम्पावरमेंट और पर्सन्स विद डिसेबिलिटीज के साथ कर रहे हैं और साथ ही साथ इस सीरीज में मैं परवीन अंबास्ता सर का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करना चाहता हूं जो मुझे सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं। इस सीरीज में रेडियो उड़ान को सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं। थैंक यू सो मच सर। और डिपार्टमेंट का भी हम धन्यवाद करते हैं। यह सीरीज हम लोगों के लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। वी विल गेट रियल टाइम पर्सपेक्टिव फ्रॉम डिसेबिलिटी कमिश्नर्स, व्हाट इज गोइंग ऑन इन देयर रिस्पेक्टिव स्टेट्स। आज की जो हमारी मेहमान है बहुत खास है। जब हम रिकॉर्डिंग कर रहे हैं तो 1 दिन बचा है उनकी रिटायरमेंट को लेके, तो आज हम उनसे ही शुरू कर रहे हैं। देथानो नाखरो मैम नागालैंड की डिसेबिलिटी कमिश्नर हैं, हमारे साथ हैं। मैम, वेलकम टू रेडियो उड़ान एंड थैंक यू सो मच फॉर गिविंग अस टाइम।
Thank you very much, Danish. I'm really happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
So ma'am, happy new year to you. It's a great beginning in 25. We are starting with you. We are noticing your work all over and you are doing a great job. How do you analysis your tenure as a disability commissioner and tell us a little bit about your life journey so far?
Yes, happy new year to you too, Danish. So my name is Diethono Nakhro and I am presently the Nagaland State Commissioner for Persons with Disabilities, as you have already introduced. And I think you have also mentioned that I will be handing over the office to the next SCPD in the next few days, as I have completed 2 terms. Under the RPWD rules, only 2 terms are allowed. So I am a wheelchair user, but I was not born with my disability. I was involved in a car wreck in 2006 where I injured my spinal cord and became a quadriplegic. I was appointed as the Disability Commissioner in 2019. So one regret I have is that as Disability Commissioner is that nearly 2 years, over 2 years of my terms were hindered by the pandemic situation, I mean, as we are all aware, during those months, there was very little that we could do. So that is my one regret. But it has been a very interesting journey, as Disability Commissioner of Nagaland.
So you come from Nagaland and you met with an accident, and then you came on wheelchair, right?
Yes, yes.
So when did it happen, and were you aware of disability rights in Nagaland at that time, and what was the condition of persons with disabilities in Nagaland? Were you aware of anything at that time? What was your perception before?
Yes, that's a very good question, Danish, because in 2006, I met with an accident. Then I, injured my spinal cord. So I was completely paralyzed from my neck down. So, it was a difficult time at that time, finding myself unable to do anything for myself. So I was going through a very tough time, as you can imagine. Then I went through my rehabilitation process. I was in Delhi for nearly a year. And after I came back home, I started, as most non-disabled people, I was barely aware about disability rights, disability issues. Of course, we have all heard about disabled people, who they were, and what type of people are called disabled. That I also was aware, but like most non-disabled people, I was not aware at all about disability rights. And, it's mostly about charity, that
Right.
pity that we feel for disabled people. When we meet them, we say, oh my God, so sad, and that kind of thing. Then after we lose sight, we forget about them, what is happening to their lives, what kind of life do they have? Are they children with disabilities able to go to school, get an education? Are they able to, carry out livelihood activities, earn an income? Nothing of those. I found myself disgracefully unaware about all these issues. It was only after I became a disabled person, coming back home, after settling in, I had, plans. I thought, okay, fine. Now I am a disabled person. My life has changed. There are a lot of things that I could do before that I will not be able to do now. That I was aware about, and I had kind of accepted my situation by the time I reached home. Then, but once I settled in and started thinking about my next move, the next chapter of my life, then I started realizing the kind of life that disabled people were living in, in our society, in Nagaland specifically, since I'm from Nagaland, that people with disabilities basically had no life at all. It was only at that time that I started researching and finding out, studying more about disability, then connecting
was the
with
trigger?
other people. Sorry?
What was the trigger? You joined a disability movement. You thought, I need to jump in. I need to work for disabled. I need to do some research. I need to do some studies. So was there any trigger?
Yes, because I found myself, the kind of isolation, the kind of the way disabled people are treated. I found myself going through the same thing. People started, talking to me like as if I had no life at all. My life was over. That now the only thing I can do is sit at home. There's nothing more that I can do. While I had all these plans in my mind, that yes, I may not be able to move like I used to move earlier, but there are so many things that I can do. And I had a lot of plans, but the way people were treating me, and, sometimes the things that I never thought would happen to me, that people started later on, even my own friend circle, later on they say, oh, we
Right.
had this gathering, but we knew that you will not be you won't be able to come, so we did not invite you. That kind of thing. You were being left out of everything. You were not being counted.
Right.
So I was going through that thing. So I said, what is this? I still have my life. I'm not dead. So why is everyone treating me like this? So that was when I started to talk to people, read and find out what was happening to the disabled community in our own society. I started connecting with people across the country to find, to talking to them, to see what I can do. Then I realized that I have a voice. I can use my voice, to speak up for the community, to stand up and say something. That was at that time I realized that, and I started doing that.
Did you have a complaint against daily based organizations or big organizations that they are ignoring completely Northeast when it comes to persons with disabilities or their rights?
See, I wouldn't call it a complaint, but yes, there is definitely a kind of ignorance about the Northeast region. Yes, I will talk about the Northeast region, since Nagaland is also in the Northeast region. We have culturally also, we are very different, as you know, and our traditional practices, our lifestyles, everything is so different. So many people, unknowingly, I'm not saying that they're doing it deliberately, but many times they do not understand that. And we are so far away from the hub, as so to speak. So many times, we tend to get left out, even in the disability movement itself. Of course, now a lot of things are happening. We ourselves also are to blame in a lot of ways, because our voices have not been strong for a long time. But now, in all the states, of the Northeast, the disability movement is getting stronger. We are gaining momentum, and so now we are also being included. We are also strong voices in the country's disability movement. But yes, I think in the past years there have been times when we have not been counted in the way that we should, maybe.
So when people saw your tenure, my first question would be, when did you apply for disability commissioner post, and what was the story behind it? And second, of course, I want to know, many people, when they saw your tenure, they say
Right.
it was a powerful tenure. He is very vocal against many things, be it accessibility and all. So people find sense कि if the disability commissioner, CCPD,
Right.
if CCPD would have been a disabled like you are, situation would have been more friendly to persons with disabilities. Do you buy that argument?
See, yeah, you have asked a number of questions there. So let me start with my tenure. I started in 2019. So see, here in Nagaland, the disability sector has been a very, very neglected sector for a very long time. So it is only in the past few years that work has, all these activities have started. And as I said, the disability movement also has gained momentum. Otherwise, there was nothing going on, actually. And the awareness is also very poor because of that. Now it has improved a lot, but we still have a long, long way to go. So at that time, I was connecting and trying to motivate young people with disabilities also to come together, all of us to come together to raise our voices. So the disabled community also was pushing me, saying that we need someone, a disabled person in the chair, so that we can push the government also and create awareness among in the society, whether it's the government sector or the private sector. So that was how I also applied for it, and the government also was responsive. They said, yes, we need someone who understands all these issues. So That's how, excuse me, that's how I got appointed. So, with regard to disabled persons being appointed as either CCPD or SCPD, I think this is very important. In the as CCPD, I know that we have had disabled persons in the post earlier, and even in the SCPD officers, I have been saying this also. From my own experience, I know that with disabled persons in the office, it has so much more impact. I was able to do a lot because of that, because I am a wheelchair user, and I have used that as a tool, to create awareness. Now, as a wheelchair user, the built environment, the accessibility in the built environment is so important for me. Of course, we talk about all the other, as STPD, all the other aspects of accessibility has been within my purview, and I have taken up all those issues. But when I want to create awareness on accessibility in the built environment, me as a wheelchair user, being there personally, showing people why accessibility is important, it makes a difference. And a person with disability with lived experience, talking about these issues and pushing the government or pushing the public to do more in this regard, it makes a difference. So disabled people being in these positions, whether it's CCPD or SCPD, is very, very important. I certainly feel that.
Thank you so much. A lot of people run away from this question. So now the follow-up questions are 2-3 questions, since we are talking about Nagaland. So we must spend some time on this. What are the key highlights of your tenure? Number 1. 2, how Nagaland is different from the remaining north eastern part? And what are the challenges still ahead?
Yeah, so as Disability Commissioner, as I told you, because the disability sector was very neglected for a very long time. So one of the first things that we had to take up was, creation of raising awareness about disability, the disability provisions, the disability rules, RPWD Act. So that was one program that we, throughout the few years of my tenure, that was one program that we carried out intensively, creating awareness, in all the parts throughout the state. So with the government sector, with the public, general public, and as well as with the disabled community, because awareness among the disabled community is also very poor, about their own rights, what they can ask for, what they are entitled to, and the schemes that are available, and things like that, because they are for so long they have been treated as charity cases, looked at with pity. So many people with disabilities, they kind of get into that mindset also, that they wait for handouts and things like that. I'm sure you understand me. So there is a lot of education that needs to be done with the disabled community. So that is one thing that we have done. We have even started a leadership training for the disabled community. And of course, implementing the provisions of the RPWD Act. That is one thing that we have taken up with the state government in very strongly. I have personally carried out access audits of various public spaces and buildings, over 50 I have done. And so this accessibility in the built environment, communication, transportation, those were some very important issues that we have done throughout. And then the court cases, most of our court cases have been suo motu. Complaints also are there, but suo motu, where we see basically mostly in the high profile spaces, like the Nagaland Legislative Assembly, the High Court Complex, these are high profile public buildings, and we wanted to create awareness. So we have filed suo motu cases and carried out excess audits, conducted workshops with the people concerned and issued directives. And to be honest, I have been very fortunate that the state government also has been very responsive. Of course, very slow. You know how our governments are. They are slow, but they have been responsive. They have been, the compliance is good. It is going on in many of the areas. So that is one thing that I'm happy about. But as I have repeatedly said, we still have a long, long way to go. A lot of work still needs to be done. And Nagaland is like most states in the Northeast, as I have mentioned, it is a tiny state. And for Nagaland, see, we have the area is only about 16.5 square kilometers. So with about 20 lakh population, total population. So it is smaller than some districts of the other states of the country. So you can imagine how small it is, the state. And the terrain, as I have already mentioned, is very different and very difficult in many of the areas of the state, regions of the state, and also limited resources. Unlike bigger states, we have very limited resources. We don't have big corporations and businesses also. So that is, we are a very dependent state. So limited resources is also one challenge that we face. So this is one thing that I have taken up with the ministry also a number of times. See, as I said earlier, one size fits all, it does not work for everyone, because of the different geographical realities. So,
Right.
for example, the harmonized guidelines and space standards for universal accessibility, which sets the specifications for accessibility in the built environment, including ramp gradients and other infrastructure, So because of the hilly terrain and limited space in much of Nagaland and the other parts of Northeast region as well, it makes it very difficult for us to strictly adhere to the prescribed standards, such as the ramp gradients. So, and then non-compliance due to practical challenges, it can hinder accessibility projects, delaying inclusive development. So I have, highlighted this to the ministry as well. We need to amend the harmonized guidelines to introduce safe flexibility for regions with challenging terrain, or provide region-specific guidelines that balance universal accessibility standards. I think this is very important.
One thing is much debated and discussed in North India with regard to northeastern states is disability pension.
Mm-hmm.
So I heard many speeches, and I have also raised this issue number of times, that disability pension is very less. I think if we exclude 300 rupees of central government, it's only 100 or 200 in Nagaland. Correct me when wherever I'm wrong. And I heard there is a provision in Nagaland. They only give disability pension to 200 or odd people. If one people would die out of 200, then another people can be enrolled. Is it correct?
Not totally correct, but it is absolutely true that the disability pension is a joke over here, because the 300 is being given under the NSAP, which obviously needs to be reviewed also at the central level, reviewed and enhanced. But the 300 comes from the center, and the state is supposed to give its share. Now, many of the states, I know that it's not only Nagaland, some other states in the Northeast also, because of the limited resources, they are unable to put in the state share. And so they are given, right now in Nagaland, the disability pension is only 300. And this is something that I have pushed the government for, and action is still to be taken.
So there is zero contribution from the state government, correct?
Zero contribution, which is absolutely disgraceful. And there has been no enhancement, and expansion of the coverage expansion also has not been done for many years now. So this is one thing that I have pushed the government for, but action is still to be taken. So that is absolutely true that the disability pension is literally a joke over here.
What
So
about second part? Yeah,
uh,
200 people. Yeah.
no, it's more than 200 people. It's over six right now. I think it's 6,000 plus, but that is also barely covering, the most needy sections of the disabled community, because we have around, it will be much more than that, but as per 2011 census, we have about 30,000 total disabled population. So it's covering only the disability pension covers only about 6,000 plus. So that needs to be coverage needs to be expanded. The amount needs to be enhanced. That is absolutely a must. Government must take action. That is absolutely true. With regard to other schemes,
Yes.
if I may just mention,
Please.
there has been no other schemes at all in the state for a long time, as I said, because of the neglect and lack of awareness also. Now, very recently, I had pushed for some state schemes to be introduced. And very recently, the Chief Minister's Corpus Fund for Livelihood Endeavors to give seed capital to livelihood endeavors for persons with disabilities has been established. The Chief Minister in 2023, during our Disability Day function, he had announced that 1 crore to be put into this corpus for disabled people. So that is one progress that we have made. One scheme has come about. And then we have the Chief Minister's health insurance scheme also that covers disabled people. So that is also one scheme that has come about in the past couple of years. So these are some of the schemes that are there. Then the other, as you said, the disability pension. Then there is some scholarship that is given to a few students, very few students, about 200 only, I think, are getting the scholarship. So the schemes and assistance to disabled people is very poor still in our state.
So there are two occasions. One occasion when you took your legislation, and second occasion is when you were given award by SDG team, Sustainable Development Goal team. So you were very vocal against them. So what happened afterwards?
Yeah, so they did come to meet me and to apologize. The SDG team, they were, you may have read the article, they are coming out with a coffee book table where I was honored to be featured as well. And so during the launch of the coffee table book, it was, I was invited and I had happily gone to attend the program. And I found out that it was being held on the second floor where there was no lift, only steps, So I raised that issue there and then over there. They came down, they apologized profusely at that time, but I was seriously annoyed because, see, this is the problem with the authorities. It's not that they don't want to do, but the thing is, they do not understand the urgency of implementing all these facilities, these provisions. So even in our, this Hornbill Festival, as you may know, it is a very popular festival now.
Yes.
So the main site that is at the Kisama Heritage Village. So there also we have taken a lot of initiatives. We have taken out just last year because it was the 25th year celebration. So we had taken out 2 inspections also, in fact, and spoken to all the authorities. We have a case ongoing with the tourism department. So to make the site fully seamless accessibility is what we are asking for. And so they have taken some actions, but then it's still very, very poor accessibility. So that is the problem with the authorities. They do not understand the urgency and the importance of implementing these provisions. So
What about
that is one thing
legislation
that I
one?
have been telling them.
Yeah. What about
Sorry?
legislation one? You took on them also for your
The
legislation.
Legislative Assembly.
Yes.
Yeah. There, yes, we did. We have a Suomoto case going on with them, and we took out. We conducted an inspection over there, even in the assembly hall itself also, and so we have given them some directives. The complex itself is not fully accessible, but surprisingly, accessible in many other ways, better than most places. The only thing is inside the hall where the legislators, they gather to have the sessions and all, it is inaccessible. So we have asked them to make those the hall accessible. That
Were you
they did
called
not have.
by Honorable CM or any leader afterwards? What are you doing? You are going in public. You are speaking about it.
No, I have not heard from the CM or the speaker, but yes, I have had feedback from the government also, from the government, and they are appreciative. They are responsive, as I've said, but the action taken tends to be too slow. So. We have to keep on pushing them, following up.
So,
That
why did I ask this question? First one,
right.
SDGC. So we have two people in scenario. One is Diethono Nakhro ma'am. One I don't want to name because it can create a controversy. Very big social activist, renowned one. When she used to be invited in any gathering, she is also on wheelchair. She gives one argument whenever there is no accessibility for wheelchair user. She says, "See, I am queen. They are carrying me. In ancient times, queen were carried out. So what's wrong?" So how do you draw this distinction?
That is ridiculous. I mean, I don't know who you are talking about, and that is absolutely wrong, because it's such an undignified thing. You are an adult, so I don't allow anyone to even touch my wheelchair. It's not just because I want to create trouble or anything like that, but because I want to create that awareness. Even there and then, on that day itself, some of the boys, they said that they'll carry me up the stairs. So I told them, no, please don't touch my wheelchair. I will certainly not be carried up the stairs. And absolutely, I will. That is, not being a queen. That is being a humiliation. It's
Yes,
completely humiliating.
you will be surprised when I will tell you name afterwards. Okay, so what does Nagaland want from the disability perspective, from the civil society, or central government or state government? What are the key challenges needs to tackle as soon as possible?
A dedicated disability department is absolutely essential, because see, we are under the social welfare department now. Our nodal department is the social welfare department, and they are concerned. They do a lot of work also, but the thing is, they have a lot of other matters that they take care of. So disability is only one part of their assignments. So that is a huge loss for the disability community. So now with the RPWD Act, there is a lot of work that needs to be done. And unless we have a dedicated disability department, then, their justice cannot be done to the work that needs to be done. So, but the problem with the smaller states like Nagaland is the lack of resources also to start a new department. So basically, our SAB meeting, our state advisory board, in our last meeting, the CM is our convener. So the CM and had also agreed, basically approved for a department to be set up. But now, because of lack of resources, we cannot get this done in the near future unless we get some help. So I had raised this issue with the ministry also and asked for some funding support from the center for the smaller states who cannot, who do not have the resources to start this dedicated department. So I think this is a very important issue. So see, there is sometimes there tends to be a cultural disconnect in policies and programs also. So the center also, at the center, this is to do with the center, when they implement or when they put policies and programs into place, schemes into place, they should consider the socio-cultural and environmental aspects of the
Yes.
states concerned. I think that is also an important point that I would like to make.
Last two questions, ma'am. One, do you have a dedicated portal or a contact number of Disability Commissioner on the website so people can directly talk?
Yes,
Is it-
we do have a website, scpdnagaland.gov.in. That is there.
Because a lot of states do not have a dedicated portal, so people do not find contact details, how to contact and where to contact. So it's a major concern in certain states.
Yes. We do have our website. Some maintenance work is being done at the moment, so some portions may not be fully working, but it is regularly updated, our website.
Last question. A lot of people have this perception, if the state is smaller, the work can be done very efficiently, quickly. But you are telling, see, when people listen this show, people would not have idea how it is possible. It's a smaller state, you need very less money, very less resources. So what are the key things? One, you told that hilly area and things. So why it can't be made accessible with the support of civil society organization and central government?
So it is tiny, but then see, everything that is needed for a bigger state, it is also needed in a small state. So there are many other issues and concerns to be taken up. And disability issues tend to be the least priority for the authorities also in many ways. Things are changing. Hopefully it'll keep on changing and taking a good direction as we move along. But it's not very easy to, thinking, yes, other people will think that it's a small state, it's a very little land area and things can be done quickly. But that is not true. I mean, and the lack of resources is also one very important issue. Very limited resources that makes it very difficult, and the terrain is another thing. So yes, so that is one thing that we have taken up with the center also, and asked the state government also to take it up with the center, that we do need help in in a substantial way to in order to make our public spaces accessible, and in order to carry out more programs for the disabled community in the state.
How much you were worried when Manipur was boiling with regard to persons with disabilities, and how hard in that scenario to protect persons with disabilities?
It is absolutely a very worrying situation. It is still, Manipur is still going through a lot. And this is also, again, another issue that we discussed in our SCPD's meeting, where the Manipur SCPD also was talking about some of their needs. And I also took the opportunity to stress to our CCPD, who is also the secretary of our department, and the other officials who are there, that they do need to have some consideration and provide some help to Manipur in terms of the disabled community, because in such conflict situations, it is marginalized communities and communities like the disabled community who suffer the most, who go through the most, the most difficulties, the most problems. So it is unimaginable, the problems they must be facing, and a huge number of people are still living in these relief camps. So there, nobody has the data, nobody knows how many disabled people, how many disabled adults or children are in those camps. So it's the situation is still very vague, but the disabled community, the disabled people will be suffering a lot. So this is one thing that we had also discussed, and I had also requested our department, the CCPD, to take some action with regard
But
to Manipur.
unfortunately, this issue has not been debated and discussed by the disability organizations as it must be if we see the gravity
Yes.
of the situation. And I always raise this issue. We must be more
Yes, I
empathetic.
think I'm absolutely, and I'm really glad that you brought this issue up also, and I absolutely agree that the disabled community also across the country have not been saying anything about the situation in Manipur and about the disabled community in Manipur in this conflict situation that they are going through. So I think it should be taken up, it should be voiced by the disabled community. Very much. I'm really happy that you brought up the issue.
We have a lot to talk because it's a conversation about Northeast, which has been very little discussed time and again. But it's time to speak up. It's time to bring Northeast to the mainstream, and let's debate and discuss their challenges as we discussed other challenges in countries. So what would be your message to our listeners, ma'am?
See, I just want to add one small thing before I end. See, the intersection of the racism, social discrimination, and ableism, this is also one conversation that is not really being taken up at all, enough in our in the context of our country. So, see, we are from the scheduled tribe population. Then we have the SC population also. So racism and then casteism, all these, it is very important, the intersection of disability and race and caste. So the aggravated discrimination or the marginalization that is experienced by people from these communities, I think we need to, the disabled community also needs to take up, start these conversations. I myself have not, as part of the ST community, I have not focused on this at all in the past. And it is not now only that I'm trying to connect with people and trying to, study more on these issues. The 2011 census reports that 2.5% of the ST population is disabled, but we do not have very scarce detailed studies on disabled people among the STs are available. So I think these are all very important, and we should have more conversations on these as well, the intersection of disability, race, and caste in our country.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, one last question, because people have sent me. I already took you a lot of time. See, you were requesting church to come up and support disability cause. A lot of people says these religious organizations across religions are not empathetic for persons with disability. They always attached us with the sins and all. So are you seeing a change in religious organizations? Have they gone empathetic, or what is the idea actually?
No, that is absolutely true. So this is also something that we have been taking up with the church community in our state. As you know, our state is largely Christian. So the churches, they have a lot of power, as with all other religions. Religion, any religion, there is a lot of power with them. They have a lot of power in their hands, and there is a lot that they can do to promote inclusion of disabled people. But they are not doing enough. There is so much that they can do. So we have been talking to the churches, carrying out programs, sensitization, workshops. So now we are seeing a lot of changes, progress happening, but there is still a lot more to be done, even in this area as well. Churches, the church buildings, accessibility in the church buildings have improved. So we are very happy about that, but there is still a long way to go. Then for the hearing impaired in the churches, use of sign language, or considering their needs in the churches, it's still not happening. This is one very important issue that we have been taking up with the churches. So there is progress, but there is still a lot of work to do there as well.
What would be your message to our listeners?
A message, the message would be for all of us to continue, speaking up. It's we need the voices to be strong, to be loud. So that is to the disabled community and to youth, young people with disabilities. The one message that I always I give them is, be proud of who you are. There will be many types of opinions, views, and many different types of people in your life, but don't let people dictate what you are, what you should do, where you should go. Be proud of who you are. Be proud of your disability. Disability is only part of your identity. So be proud of who you are. You are stronger than you even know yourself. There is so much that you can do. So just stand up, be strong, be who you are.
Congratulations, ma'am, for your successful tenure. More power to you. And in future, we will certainly talk about intersection things you have mentioned. We will walk the talk.
I hope so. We will have some other opportunity to talk again. Thank you so much, Danish, for having me.
It was absolute honor and pleasure, ma'am. Thank you so much for kickstarting this series.
Thank you.
तो लिसनर्स, आज बात की हमने नागालैंड के डिसेबिलिटी कमिश्नर्स के साथ. उनका टेन्योर खत्म होने वाला है. क्या किया उन्होंने, क्या चैलेंजेस है नागालैंड की, कैसे हमें आवाज उठानी चाहिए, किन मुद्दों पर बात करनी चाहिए, हमने डिटेल में डिस्कस किया. अगले एपिसोड में मिलाएंगे आपको एक और डिसेबिलिटी कमिश्नर से, जानेंगे उनकी स्टेट में क्या चल रहा है. कैसा लगा आपको शो, कमेंट करके जरूर बताइए. अगले सप्ताह होगी मुलाकात. दीजिए अपने दोस्त दानिश महाजन को इजाजत. सुनते रहिए रेडियो उड़ान, फ्लाइट ऑफ लाइफ. बाय बाय.
कानूनी चुनौतियों का सामना करना कठिन है. अगर आप दिव्यांग हैं तो कानूनी मुद्दे और भी जटिल हो सकते हैं. इसीलिए हम लाए हैं आपके लिए जस्टिस कनेक्ट. जस्टिस कनेक्ट, अ प्रो बोनो लीगल एडवाइस, यानी निशुल्क कानूनी सलाह. हर गुरुवार शाम 5:30 से 6:30 बजे तक राहुल बजाज और अमर जैन जुड़ेंगे आपसे, ताकि आपको मिले एक अनुभवी, समर्पित और सर्वोत्तम न्याय मार्गदर्शन. जस्टिस कनेक्ट दिव्यांगजन के अधिकार, पारिवारिक न्याय, संपत्ति कानून और शिक्षा कानून में विशेषता रखता है. हर गुरुवार कॉल करें राहुल बजाज 9890281068 पर, अमर जैन 9892622230 पर. जस्टिस कनेक्ट, अब लीगल एड सबके लिए.
बड़ी खुश दिख रही हो.
एक्चुअली बड़े अरसे से सुधा मूर्ति की एक ऑडियो बुक ढूंढ रही थी, आज मिली है.
अरे बहुत लकी है तू. हमारे गांव में तो इंटरनेट ही नहीं है.
अरे तुम्हें मालूम नहीं, अब ऑडियो बुक सुनने के लिए इंटरनेट की जरूरत नहीं है। नैप दिल्ली ने लॉन्च की है IVR बेस्ड ऑडियो बुक लाइब्रेरी श्रवण।
इतनी लंबी किताब फोन पे कैसे पढ़ेंगे?
अरे पॉज, रिवाइंड, नेक्स्ट पेज, नेक्स्ट चैप्टर जैसे बहुत से फीचर्स हैं वहाँ।
अच्छा, तो मुझे कॉल कहाँ करना होगा?
ये नंबर अपनी कॉन्टैक्ट लिस्ट में सेव कर ले, 080-711-75215।
लाइब्रेरी की मेंबरशिप भी है कोई?
हाँ, सिर्फ नैप दिल्ली की मेंबरशिप ही काफी है। इससे रिलेटेड अगर ज्यादा जानकारी चाहिए तो 8826261166 पर कॉल कर सकती हो। और हाँ, अपना डिसेबिलिटी सर्टिफिकेट रेडी रखना।
थैंक्स फॉर द इन्फॉर्मेशन यार। फिर तो मुझे आज ही नैप दिल्ली की मेंबरशिप लेनी होगी।
तो अगर आप भी IVR बेस्ड ऑडियो बुक लाइब्रेरी का लाभ उठाना चाहते हैं तो आज ही कॉल करें 080-711-75215।